In a world of EMS podcasters, EMS Office Hours is the only live podcast bringing you the latest topics and opinions in EMS. Turn down your scanner and turn up your speakers as we join Jim Hoffman and Josh Knapp on their latest EMS podcasting journey.
Hey, Jim Hoffman here for EMS Office Hours. Today, again, sort of podcasting through my car, a little car casting here. Thanks for joining me. Listen, if you find any kind of value, entertainment, eye-opening sort of content from this podcast, I need you to do me a favor. Head over to iTunes. There's a link below the show notes here. Okay? And like it, subscribe to it, and leave me a review, please. It really helps get the word out, of course, number one, which is what my main goal is, right? Is to get more listeners, right? And it also helps my rankings there at iTunes. And believe it or not, the way they work things, that of course the more reviews you get and the more subscribers you get, the higher you rank. So even though I've got 8,000 something subscribers, right, at some point that sort of levels off and it stops. Anyway, so if you could do me that favor, I would greatly appreciate it. Okay? It really helps. It gets that word out. So enough of that. Today, I'm going to go a little bit on a rant. I'm going to try to stay calm. But, you know, I'm seeing these things about how emergency room staff, particularly nurses, this thought process that they look down on EMS because we don't have bachelor's degrees, right? We're not college-educated providers. And I'm just not buying it, okay? First of all, many of us do have college degrees. Maybe it's not a bachelor's, maybe it's an associate's. Maybe we have a bachelor's degree, but it's not recognized in the profession that it means anything, right? Other than on your resume, because most places don't require a bachelor's degree to become a paramedic or an EMT, right? So the nurses have no clue whether or not you have a bachelor's degree or an associate's degree or anything like that in order for them to look down on you in the first place, right? They're aware, probably, some of them, most of them, that it doesn't require a bachelor's degree to become a paramedic, right? But I don't think that's the reason why some of them might look down on us or not give us that respect that we think we deserve and all that. They look down on us, or they don't trust us, or they don't consider what we're saying or what we're doing to be valid in their realm of medical professionalism, because the way that we act and the way that we present ourselves. You know, when you go to an emergency room and you've got no sense of uniform, right? And you look sloppy and you present yourself in a way that isn't necessarily professional, okay? Strike one, right? They're going to start looking down on you. And when you give your report and you're sort of rambling on about the patient and you using words like stuff and things and they're, you know, vital signs are okay, you know, no, give the vital signs, right? Give a concise, clear patient report. Do a concise, vectored, appropriate exam for your patients, every patient, right? I mean, I can't tell you how many times that I've brought in, let's say, an intoxicated patient, right? And for me, I always do a blood sugar on these patients, right? But a lot of providers don't necessarily do that. So when the nurse says to them, "Did you get a blood sugar?" No, he's just a drunk, No, you've got to do the right thing for every patient, okay? And that is what sort of translates to getting the respect that you need, okay? It's getting the recognition that you're a fellow healthcare provider. Because when they ask me what a blood sugar is on an intoxicated patient, and I can tell them exactly what it is, right there, I'm building up what I like to call that cache, right? That cachet, right? CACHE, right? You're building that up so that when you come in with a patient that is a legitimate patient, well, not legitimate, but a patient that's critical, let's say, right? Because all patients are more or less legitimate in some form or another. But when you come with that critical patient and you give your report and you say a concise report and a good physical exam and what you found and what you didn't find and what you did and what you didn't do and why and all that stuff, they'll listen to you and take what you're saying a hell of a lot more seriously when you're building up that cache over time, no matter what your education level is, right? I have a thing that I like to think about where I say, formal education is going to get you a job, right? You'll get the job with formal education. No matter what it is, no matter what you're doing in life, you can get a job with formal education. But success is when you're self-educating yourself, okay? Success is through self-education. Doing the extra CMEs, going online, reading articles, participating in discussions online. All of that is just self-education. Even going back and rereading and reviewing your textbook when you come upon something that's a little odd and you don't quite get it and you need to sort of kind of refresh your memory on that particular disease process or that particular patient presentation. Okay, that's self-education, and that's what makes you a good provider. That's what makes you able to give good patient reports and present yourself as a knowledgeable EMS professional. Not the fact that you can walk into an ER and wave a bachelor's degree in somebody's face and say, "Hey, now EMS has bachelor's degrees, give me respect." That ain't happening, okay? Because like I said, many of us already have it, and you're not getting respect because of that. You're getting respect because of how you present yourself, okay? So I don't buy that mentality that it's going to be this, you're going to turn the page when we've got, when that becomes this requirement in EMS to have a bachelor's degree, and then suddenly everyone's going to respect us, and oh my God, here comes their bachelor's degree paramedic. No, that ain't happening. All right, you've got to present yourself as a professional, as knowledgeable, okay, on every call, on every patient, okay, and that is what's going to give you the respect from your fellow healthcare providers, doctors and nurses and whatnot, okay? You can walking in and giving a crappy report and doing a crappy patient assessment, but then following up with, "Oh yeah, but I got a bachelor's degree, so all that doesn't matter," right? I can give crappy care and crappy reports and crappy documentation because I got a bachelor's degree, so I don't got to do anything good. All right, I think you get my point here. And I don't know if you agree with me or not. I kind of hope you do. I kind of hope you see where I'm coming from here. Yeah, it's important to have that education, formal education, okay? But to me, it's that self-education, guys, even if you have a bachelor's degree, right? It's the continuing education, that self-education is what's going to make a difference. And that's what I have found personally in EMS, that nothing I've learned in school, okay, has really made me a good provider. I feel what's made me a good provider, what's made me a good EMS professional is my attitude, is my drive to do well for patients and their families, and my continuous self-education in topics that either I'm interested in, that I feel weak on, that I want to be well versed in because it's something that's a common thing in EMS, right? That's the type of stuff that I feel has made me a good EMS professional, okay? And you'll see that out there too. I mean, for me, things that I like to look at is like the sepsis stuff. Okay, I am really getting into that sort of topic now, because seeing that we can really make a difference for these patients long term if we can identify that in the field, right? And some people are big into the cardiology stuff, right? I'm not that big into that. I like it. I'm interested in it, but I don't get too much into a lot of the minutia of that, right? But you've got some providers who love that topic and they master it, so everyone has their own little thing that they enjoy, which is great. It's always great, I think, to have providers that do that, but again, it's that self-education that I have found is what really makes you a good EMS professional and a good EMS provider. All right, so that's it, guys. Like I said, I think you know where I'm coming from on this. I hope you agree. If you agree or disagree, again, leave me a comment below in the comment section. Go to iTunes. Do me that favor, guys. Leave me a review there. Subscribe to the podcast. And, leave some comments there, guys. It really helps me out. It helps the show out. And it gets the word out there, okay? If taking those few minutes are just too much for you today, hey, I get it. Do me one other favor. Just share this with one other person. Just like it. Do the Facebook like button. Press that like button. That's all you got to do. And it just helps get the word out. Share that with a few other people. All right, guys. That's it for me. Summer is rapidly approaching, right? It's starting to get warm out there, okay? A couple more days and it'll be officially summer. So guys, stay hydrated, right? Stay cool. And of course, as always, guys, Jim Hoffman from EMS Office Hours. Stay safe.